I'm back. Anyway, hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 169 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit and crochet sometimes, and where I get into all kinds of other crafting shenanigans, some of which you will see today. I've been brought over to a new crafting shenanigans have happened. I'll show you more about that after I talk about some knitting and some other things. Anyway, it is Saturday, July 22nd, 2023, and I'm back to regular podcasting. I had a fantastic couple weeks away. I went up to Manitoba, Canada to visit with family. Customs guy coming back into the US was hilarious. He asked where I was, what was the purpose of my visit to Canada, and I said I was here to visit family visit my mom and my sister. And he said, was that voluntary or kicking and screaming? So I told him it was voluntary. And I said, I told him how old my mom was. And he said, well, you best continue doing that. Come and visit her as often as you can. So it was hilarious. He was so good-natured. It was funny. So anyways, you don't often have fun going through customs and immigration, either direction. You usually don't get officers that have a really weird sense of humor like that. So that was a lot of fun. So anyway, if you're a new viewer, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have fun here and come back again. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back to see me again week after week and coming back to see what kind of crafting nonsense and shenanigans I've been up to. So, as I mentioned, I just got back from a little over 2 weeks away. I left here on Sunday afternoon and had an early collection of flights to Canada on Monday the 3rd of July, and I came back, my flight got back in about quarter to midnight on Tuesday the 18th of July. So I was gone for just over 2 weeks and I had a wonderful visit. I'll talk more about that later on, but while I was traveling, I have 4 finished objects, one's not knitting though. And I have 2 works in progress, one knitting, one not knitting. And you'll see in a bit when I talk about my new crafting shenanigans. So the first finished object, I don't have a picture of it, or I don't have it with me. This was the scarf that my mom had asked if I would finish knitting for her friend Mary. And I like Mary, so I thought, I don't mind. I'm happy to knit a scarf for her. I will have a link to the information in the description box below with a link to the pattern, or not the pattern page, there was no pattern, with a link to my project page, which will have more pictures. I will post one picture here. And the project page has the information. It was a Bernat yarn. I can't remember, something mosaic. It was an ombre kind of thing. It went from like a green to a lightish yellowy orange to a brownish color back to this greenish color. Not my kind of colors, but they are hers. So anyway, she had knit about that much, 6, 8, 10 inches maybe. And the thought of undoing that and redoing, I thought, no, it'd be kind of fun to leave her little bit of knitting on there and then just continue on from where she left off. So the pattern was that there was no pattern. So what I did was I just kind of looked at what it looked like, and it just looked like it was knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, and then ending with knit 2, then turn it and knit what you saw. So you kind of had these little, not quite a, well, I guess kind of a tiny basket weave kind of pattern. And then it would switch. So the next row would be purl or 2 rows, and then there'd be 2 rows with purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and so on across. So it was a very basic pattern, and it took me the better part of the first week I was there to finish knitting it. It came out ending up being a little over 6 feet long, which she likes because she was saying afterwards she's able to fold it in half lengthwise, put it over her neck, and kind of tuck the tails through, and she loves it. She was so happy to have it done, and I was so happy to be able to get it done for her. So that's my first finished object. Second and third finished objects are socks that I worked on while I was in airports and flying and at my mom's place and at my sister's place. The first are my Felici sort of shorty socks. If you'll just give me a minute, I will get them back onto some sock blockers. So this was using a single skein of Felici fingering, and the toes, the heel, and just that little pop of color at the top of the cuff are in Knit Pick Stroll in black. So here's the pair of socks. So if you're perceptive, you'll notice that they're not identical and that the colors are reversed. If I match up the, which I apparently can't figure out how to do, if you're to match up where, say we just match up this dark navy color on the 2 socks, I can't even get that. I'm not even going to try to do it that way because it's not working for me. Anyway, what I did was, since I bought a single skein of each of the 8 colors they had available in the Felici fingering weight. This color is Poseidon, and the stroll, the Knit Pick Stroll, is in black. Not my favorite color to knit with. Tricky to do a heel flap and pick up stitches and all that stuff with black on an airplane with poor light. Anywho, so what I did was I took the skein of yarn and I did it into a cake. I took each of the ends of the cake. For one, I started in the center of the cake. The other sock I started on the outside of the cake. So the colors are running in opposite directions. So this one will go from navy to this greeny blue to this bright blue to this gray to this other one. The other side goes the opposite direction. And I'm fine with that. They absolutely look like they are a pair that go together. But the stripes, if you're looking carefully, are not identical. And I'm fine with that. And I just started it. The first one sock was quite close to the beginning of this color. On the second sock, that was not the case. I only got a couple rounds in this blue before it went into this kind of grayish, greeny blue color. So I didn't care. I thought, I'm just going to do it as is. However it comes out of the either end of the cake, close enough. I'm not that much of a perfectionist when it comes to my socks being perfectly matchy-matchy. I tried doing perfectly matchy-matchy socks once. Did the first sock, came back to do the second sock. I was doing those top down. I was just past the heel flap, coming down the gusset, and there was a knot in the yarn. There'd been a break in the yarn when it was being produced, and from that point on, my socks no longer matched. So at that point, I thought, I'm probably never going to try to perfectly match self-striping socks ever again. Because I do not need that gray hair. I have easy enough getting gray hair on my own. I don't need to stress about matchy-matchy, perfectly matchy-matchy socks. I'm just not that fussy about that. So those are my Felici socks. They're sort of shorties. Started toe up, 2 at a time on 2.25 millimeter needles, or US 1. Did the toes, then started into the stripes. 55 rounds for my foot on the foot. The Gusset increasing works out to be 20 rounds. So do that up. Then do the heel flap, just a basic heel turn, slip stitch heel flap, and then rejoin or continue on rejoining the yarn. I do 25 rounds in the stripes, and then I do a 2x2 ribbing until I'm completely out of yarn. And then I switch over and I do 2 or 3 rounds in the contrast color, just so I have enough to cast off or to bind off comfortably. So my first pair of Felici sort of shorty socks. I love them. And these I finished, I started them, I had partway done. I think I might have showed you this before I left. Maybe, I can't remember. But I had part of it done before I left. I was partway up the foot. I will be posting a second video a little bit later on, maybe today or tomorrow, with more of like a travel vlog kind of thing, with just some little snips and clips, and some of it just shows these socks in progress at different points along my travels. So those are my sort of shorty Felici socks. So love them. Second pair that I started and finished while I was in Manitoba, although I haven't tucked in my tails yet. I just realized that now that I never did get around to, I never did do that yet. These are my, and I will put these on blockers so I can show them to you a little bit better. These are my July sort of shorty Advent socks. So again, those are from, this yarn is from Orlando Fiber Arts, and this was part of the 12 Days of Christmas 50-gram Advent calendar that I bought last year. Instead of opening them each of the 12 days of Christmas, I opened them all, I'm opening them each one by one. Each of the 12 days is one of the months. So I will have, at the end of the year, I will have 12 pair of socks. Here's the first 6 in a nice little stack here. Here's number 7, my July socks. Just finished these, I think I finished them on my flight home. Yes, on one of the flights home. So these are my July toe-up sort of shorty socks. That's pretty bright. But I love them. So this is my July sort of shorty pair of socks. I love them. I'm still thoroughly enjoying doing all of my sort of shorty socks. Plain, vanilla, sort of shorty, love them. So I'm going to show you my last knitting work in progress, and then I'll talk about my new crafting shenanigans and the rabbit hole my mom took me down. I blame my mom. We can all blame our moms for stuff, can't we? Anyway, so my third work in progress, and no surprise, socks galore, are another pair of sort of shorty socks. This yarn is this is the yarn my husband picked out. I had a set of, I think it was 6 50-gram skeins of yarn from Hue Loco. And this one is called Heat Wave, which right about this time of year might be an appropriate name for a color. So Heat Wave is the color. So this is yarn by Hue Loco. And I started these, I finished the green ones in Minneapolis. Yes, when I was sitting in the airport in Minneapolis, I finished the socks off there, and I cast on the toes for another pair of sort of shorty socks. And I got the toes, just the very beginning of the toes, going in the airport in Minneapolis, because my way home I flew Winnipeg, Minneapolis, Atlanta, and then into Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That's a scenic route. That map just kind of goes like here, there, and back up again. Anyway, so I had the toes cast on, and I finished most of the toe on the plane from Minneapolis to Atlanta. Atlanta, I had very little spare time. I had enough time to send a couple texts, one to the hubby, one to my sister, a quick note to my mom, and grabbed a bite to eat, and the plane was boarding. So I got started on working on part of the foot on the flight from Atlanta to Harrisburg. And I like these. This is a neat color. It's got a slight spirally effect happening. I like that. I don't mind pooling on socks. That's fine. So it's got ever so slight look of spiraling happening. We'll see what happens as it widens up for the gusset increasing. But that's my work in progress. So I have little over 30 rounds done on the foot so far. Well, the toe plus another 30, I think 3 or 4 rounds done. So once I get up to 55, I'll start increasing for the gussets, and then I'll come back to do the white heel and continue up the leg. So I'm hoping to get a fair bit done on this during the upcoming week, although this new crafting shenanigan rabbit hole I've fallen down is sucking up all my time, which is kind of okay right now because it's warm here, and working with much yarn it's too warm. So my knitting has mostly been a little bit in the morning, mostly in the evening while we're watching TV, and then the rest of the day, well, yesterday and so far today, I've worked on my new obsession. So when I was at my mom's, they have, usually every week they have a little craft thing. They have like a community resource girl, she's probably in her 20s, she's young, who comes in and she sets up and works with and helps a lot of any of the seniors in town who want to join, can come out and do these little crafty things. So they've done little painting things, they've made coasters, they've tried all kinds of different things. Some of them my mom enjoys, some of the stuff she does not really enjoy, which is fine. So the one thing that they've done several times now, and which she tried and loved, and I've heard of and thought I've always been curious to try. So they had it set to go this past, the second Thursday I was there, because I stayed up with my mom most of the time, is diamond art painting. I'm not sure if you've seen or heard of it before, but it's just using these little colored beads, not quite beads, they're little resin things that you use, kind of this little pencil with a sticky end. The surface is sticky, and you stick these little diamonds onto the template that you have. So this was just a little sun catcher thing. It's double-sided, so it has the little gems on both sides, and it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it, and I kind of thought I would like it. It's kind of like cross stitch, but with little sticky, they call them drills or little diamonds, but they're little resin things. They're flat on one side and they're kind of domed on the other side, and you've got like this little plastic pencil shaped thing with a little sticky tip on the end of it that you put that on the top of the round side of the gem, pick it up, and then you put it down on the onto the material in the designated spot for that. So I thought this is really fun. So my sister had bought my mom a few kits at Dollarama, which is like the Canadian dollar store, Dollar General kind of store. So So they have things that are, not everything's $1, but they're all inexpensive things. And she bought my mom a few diamond art kits at Dollarama, and they're $4 a piece. So I stayed at my mom's until whatever the Sunday was, the 16th. And then I went back into the city with my sister. I spent a few days with her. So on the Monday, she drove me out to, there's a Dollarama right around the corner from where they live, but there's a bigger, nicer one, about a 10 minute drive from their house. So she drove me to the big one and to look at the diamond art kits there, because I wanted one. I was ready to get started on this. So we went, I got a kit. Now this is probably gonna show quite a bit of glare, but this is the kit that I bought. So it will have a sheet of clear plastic on the top, and you can see along the top I've completed all of, I just started this yesterday morning and it's almost done. You can see towards the bottom, I'm gonna see if I can kind of hold it. You can see towards the bottom that it has, on this side, it has little D's and X's. Those are two different, the white and cream color little pieces that I put down there. So I only have a little bit along the bottom here to finish. This flower is almost complete. A little bit in the middle of the flower needs to be completed yet. And some of the little flower parts, or the leaf parts at the bottom, I'll be finished this today probably. Maybe tomorrow. Probably today. So this is my latest obsession. So this will be done, when I see you next week, this will be done. But I find it incredibly addictive. My shoulders are sore, the back of my neck is sore, because I'm like hunched over, sticking these little guys on here. It's addictive. I truly find it very addictive. So that's the newest rabbit trail I've gone down. And I've already gone on Amazon. I've ordered a set of new little plastic trays that you put the little gems in to catch them. I ordered that, those arrived today. I ordered these all last night. The trays arrived today. I also ordered a fancier pen, like a little sticky thingy. The one that comes with all the kits is just this thin, narrow, flimsy plastic, like bright pink plastic thing. And a lot of people that I've watched videos on say it's hard on your hands after a while, and I don't need to stress my hands out even more using with yet another craft. So I ordered one that's a little bit larger, a little bit more ergonomic. So that should be here Monday, I think Monday. And then since I'm almost done with this painting, I ordered another kit. It's more expensive than the this one was. I'll see if I can figure out how to get a picture. I'll see if I can do a screen grab of a picture from Amazon of the one I bought, or the one I ordered. That one should be here tomorrow. So that one is kind of like, it's got like a fanciful castle-y kind of house looking thing. It's all in blues and whites, and it looks so pretty. It looks like this like fantasy castle house mythical thing. It just looks really, really pretty. It's quite a bit bigger than this one. It's probably gonna be about the similar width, but it's going to be a fair bit taller. So it should take me a little bit longer to do, but we shall see. And that one was, I think it was only, with the taxes and everything, it was just over $10. So they're not expensive. Chances are they're not the best quality either, but I'm just a very beginner at this, and I'm just kind of doing this for fun right now. So it's just a new rabbit trail I've gone down. So just curious, any of you have any sentences, Karen? I'm trying to talk faster, like my mouth's not going as fast as the words are trying to come out of my brain. How Have any of you tried diamond painting? It's fun. It is a lot of fun. And I foresee myself doing a fair few more of these over time. You can make all kinds of things, like the little sun catchers, like the one I have. I have to put that up in my window yet. You can do coasters, although I'm not really keen on the idea of coasters, because to me they just seem like they'd be really slippery, and then the moisture from your glass or dribbled coffee or tea is going to, I don't know if if there's a way to do some kind of coating on it, I don't know. But the idea of coasters doesn't quite appeal to me as much. Maybe I should research that and find out, because they're nice small little things to make. But, so that's my new obsession. There's no hope for me, really, there's not. Anyway, so that's about it for my crafting. As I mentioned, I had a really fun trip. Again, I took some footage of a few things that I did while I was away, and nothing major, just some scenery stuff and a few shots from the airport. And I've got pretty much nothing on the way home or back when I came back south, just because at that point I was tired. I was done. So I didn't get as much footage, and I didn't have any opportunities to film out the plane windows other than once. So that didn't work well for me. But I'm going to put that all together, and I'll post that video either later today or possibly tomorrow. And then I'll just talk about a little bit of a few things that we did while I was out. It's not a lot. It's just some of it'll just be pictures that I'll just post a photograph and then just do like the little picture-in-picture and talk about it a little bit. Some of them are just a few little, I'll do voiceovers on some of the video footage I did. We spent one afternoon, I went out to the lake with, there's 5 of us that we were really close friends all through school, and we've kept in touch, and we've remained very good friends forever. I met all of them, 2 of them before kindergarten, the other 2 once we started kindergarten. So I've known them for a long time. So we spent the afternoon out at one of my friends they have a cabin out on the shore of Lake Manitoba, and I love it there. Oh my gosh. I grew up right on the shores of Lake Manitoba, so for me that was just like, I felt it in my soul. It was just, oh, it was so good. So I've got a little bit of footage of that. So I'll put all my stuff off my camera reel and stuff like that, and I'll get that all put together for a video. And I said I'll probably post that for tomorrow, because by the time I get this edited and uploaded and all that stuff, I won't get the other one done until later today or tomorrow morning. So I think that's it. My camera's gonna run out. It's gonna stop on me in a minute or 2, so maybe I'll just zip it before the camera cuts me off and shuts me up. It's great to be back. So next week I'll probably have a finished diamond painting to show you, and I'm hoping I have the my Hue Loco sort of shorty socks. I'm hoping I have them done for next week also. Right now I only have 2 knitting whips, the sort of shorty socks and the which sweater is that? Penguono. And it's too stinking hot to even think about touching a bulky weight sweater. So no, I'm not gonna touch it unless I have an opportunity to be someplace where I can sit in a well air-conditioned place and work on it, and that's not my apartment. So I probably won't get much work done on Penguono for several weeks now. It's probably just gonna be put to the wayside. So I think I'm just gonna stick to diamond painting and my sort of shorty socks. That'll be enough for whips for the time being, unless I get tempted by something else, which could happen. Anyway, on that note, I'm gonna stop rambling. Take care, everyone, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.